We are the Holocaust.
Welcome to We Are the Holocaust.
Hello, Bouncy.
Good evening, Rob. What a rubbish week.
What a rubbish week indeed.
Just ill and horrible.
I'm ill, you're knackered.
And people are arseholes.
Well,
I've got nothing to look forward to at all.
Well, we have.
What?
Weekend. Yay!
I'm working all weekend.
I'll come in and talk to you. I'm off.
Yeah, well, you can come in and talk to me if you like. We're showing No Escape with Owen Wilson.
No, they don't talk me with Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
I'll apologise in advance for the illness. I may cough, splutter and clear my throat randomly throughout the podcast.
It's fine. Your coughing might be an amusing aside.
It might be.
People will then put in a review
Yeah.
about how good we are and how funny we are.
Yeah.
And then specifically name you.
Yeah.
Which also didn't help me. Yeah, great. But he did say that MGP's loss is everyone else's game, which is nice.
True story.
Yeah, true story. So thank you for that review. Keep them coming because, frankly, we hadn't seen that one. It was a nice treat when we were both feeling a bit there. I just ran it because that's the thing. I'm not that obsessive about ourselves to go. Oh, I'm going to check all the reviews every single day. No, it'll be a week. Every week or so, I'll have a look, and that's been on there a good 10 days. I was like, ooh. So thank you for the review.
Yeah.
Another 5 stars.
Yeah.
At this rate, we'll have enough stars to unlock a level on Mario Kart or something.
Well,
Didn't collect stars now. It was Mario 64 when it was stars.
Yeah.
So next week we've got Eurogamer though.
We
so
have
that's
something to look forward to.
something to look forward to. The open goal I left you,
Yep.
and you just decided to boot it to the stadium.
I wasn't specified as the striker or the defender, so I thought I would do my defensive duty.
Yeah.
Kick it over the stand.
So yeah, by the time our next episode goes out, we will have been to Eurogamer. So we figured it's more sensible to talk about our trip to Eurogamer in the show that goes out before Eurogamer.
Yeah. It's almost like we planned it.
Well, it's not. Bearing in mind the text message conversation we had, where both of us were kind of just wandering around in the dark, trying to come to a concise idea of when we should do this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, what I really should have done is just recorded 2 episodes today, and then put the other one out on the Wednesday before. But
That would have made sense.
I'm not doing that.
No, don't do that.
I
Confuse people.
Yeah.
Wednesday. It's what this Wednesday podcast all about.
Exactly.
No,
I want it to go out. So on this week's show, we will specifically talk about our plans. We've gone through the list of all the games that have currently been announced.
Yep.
Although there are some weird things where games are there but haven't been announced.
Yep.
And games that have been hinted at being there that are definitely not going to be there. So we've got 10 each.
Yes,
Some
10
which-
must see, and then 5 that have raised our curiosity levels.
Yeah. And some crossover, where we're both interested in the same
Yep.
thing. So where that happens, we'll both wax lyrical about those. Then we will talk to you about how you can get involved in our Eurogamer experience. I've been booking some interviews for us.
Oh.
One of them said, when are you coming up? And I said, on Thursday. And he said, I can offer you Saturday or Sunday. And I went, Thursday. And he said, bring his email with you, we'll see what we can do.
Yep.
I thought, no, that's not an interview booking. Just walk up to a guy and go, got this email?
Do you know who you're walking up to? You're just going to show an email to a random person.
It's a game called Crystal Rift,
Right.
which is on the indie
Yep.
side of it, in the red section. It runs on the HTC Vive, the Steam VR system. It's actually running on all VR systems. They designed it for all of them.
Okay.
And it's a mixture of Eye of the Beholder,
Yep.
like a dungeon crawling game,
Uh-huh.
and or the old Elder Scrolls even, and Nightmare.
Ooh.
So you're
We don't
walking.
interview him now.
You're walking through a dungeon, and instead of having 3 kids tell you what to do, you're in charge of staying alive. And
You
you'll
shout
look up,
at yourself.
and you'll look
Left,
up and
left,
see
get on the
spikes
dragon.
dropping down, and there'll be fireballs coming towards you. It's got potential to be very, very good. And there's a really good level design, I think, where you can just build a really fiendish maze for your friends to try and negotiate. So hopefully we'll get a go with that, because it would be good to play a game that we really want to look at on the systems that we really want to try.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll talk about that and how you can get involved, because we do want to report back on what you want to hear about as well, because it's not all about us.
No.
I It's mostly about us, obviously, because we're awesome and amazing and stuff. Then we'll go through a little bit of news.
Yep.
We've got the results of the Pac-Man 256 high
Yes.
score run, which got heated and exciting because there's only about 300 points between the top 3 scores.
Yep.
And then we'll wrap it up. It won't be a long one this week, folks, because we're both awful.
Dying on our ass.
I feel like my insides have been eaten by ferrets.
Popcorn. That's what they feed you at the cinema.
We haven't got any popcorn, sold it out.
Oh, definitely.
That's how great it is.
So got an Owen Wilson film and no popcorn.
No, we'll have popcorn again by the weekend. It's just we had a really busy week this week.
Is it because everybody ate it at the cricket documentary we watched, Death of a Gentleman?
Nobody ate popcorn at the cricket documentary Death of a Gentleman, which was very well attended.
It was.
And was quite nice because people stayed around afterwards and
Yes.
had a couple of drinks, which is always nice. Doesn't happen very often, but it's nice when it does. We also had Hitting the Apex as well, the MotoGP film.
That sold out, didn't it, in the end?
Almost sold out. And was unique in the sense that the last kind of... It's pitched as being as good as Senna, although...
It's a bit more niche, isn't it?
I think, it's a lot more niche than Senna is as a documentary. I think the subject matter is maybe the same. And dealing with the real death of somebody involved in the sport. Because that was Simicelli died in that season. And it's sort of basically... The documentary makers didn't know that was going to happen, obviously.
No, well, you don't.
So having that season documented, capturing all the reactions from everything, the highs and the lows. And then at the very end of it, it was saying about that at his kind of home racetrack, there's a flame that burns for a very specific amount of time as a tribute to him. And it's all like, hopefully the sport will move on. And during the credits, they did a little featurette on the new safety measures that they put into the suits, into the leathers. So the airbags that can come in. And they're saying that because of these accidents, we can now be more safe. And then it shows you footage of a guy being interviewed who says, no, I'm taking the airbags out. It's 0.5 pound of weight I can lose. And he won the race by something like 200ths of a second.
So he felt justified.
Was the difference between him winning. And the whole point of the documentary was, doesn't matter how safe you try and make it, these racers
they want to race. Yeah.
And I kind of like that. I think that's the appeal of
you get that
MotoGP.
in a lot of sports, though.
Yeah, you
get that in hockey a lot because there's been a lot of things, North American sports just in general, with concussions. You get it in hockey, there's guys who openly admitted they think with a concussion. Well, that sounds stupid. Obviously, they're playing because they want to keep their job.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're a star, they'll keep their job. Teams will be like, well, you're a star player.
Yeah.
But the guys who are sort of depth players, if they can't play, they'll call a young kid up from the minor leagues and they've lost their spot.
And it's also, if you look at things like Formula 1, when they started to put the onboard computers onto the cars and suddenly the sport lost its skill.
Yeah.
Because it was no longer the driver and an engine, it was the driver and a computer that could be manually adjusted while on the fly. And the push to get that out of the car... is intriguing. But yeah, the whole documentary, everyone came out in absolute silence. Nobody said a word. And there was a bit of that with Death of a Gentleman, because obviously it does kind of point out that all of these things that should change are just not changing quick enough.
They're getting worse. It was the point of Death of a Gentleman that the 3 teams are basically running, or 3 countries are running cricket. Which doesn't make sense.
So if you're interested in cricket, I think it's fair to say Death of a Gentleman is a film to watch.
Definitely.
And it is starting to get a release in other places as well. We were the first in the area to get it, but I know Cambridge are hoping to show it very soon.
Cambridge, there's a showing in Norwich on Monday coming, so there's
so if you're in the woods areas, then go and see it. Yep. And same with Hitting the Apex, which is available on DVD and video. And DVD and video, DVD and Blu-ray now. Yeah, that's alright. I don't work in a video shop anymore. But no, do you know what? It's funny because Hitting the Apex we showed on the... I think we showed it on the Wednesday or the Thursday, and it came out on the Monday. Yeah. And despite that, people still paid to come see it properly. Yeah. And I was quite pleased with
I think people will, with certain things, certain films, they will always like to come see it on the big... Star Wars, if they re-release Star Wars, New Hope, it will sell well, because people love to see Star Wars on the big screen.
Yeah, absolutely. We have thinking of doing to celebrate the release of Spectre. We're going to have a vote and see which Bond film people would like to see.
And then abuse people if they pick Quantum of Solace. You can't come in, mate. We know what you voted for.
It's not going to be on the list. We should narrow it down to a curated 10, I think. Because I don't want to be showing something like, never say never again because it's not a Bond film. But I secretly hope it's GoldenEye. Because as rubbish as it is, it's still one of my favourite Bond films because it's so Bond.
Yeah. See, I like GoldenEye because it's quite Bond.
But I'd also quite like to just have Skyfall and have that finish and then Spectre start 20 minutes later.
That would be quite cool.
Because they do tie directly into the end. So,
and that was good when Deluxe did the Marvel marathon.
Yeah. And this is it. And we're looking forward to Star Wars. I'm trying to work out what we're going to do about Star Wars because obviously Disney now owns Star Wars, so they're a lot stricter on what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
With Marvel, they didn't mind so much because it was an event.
Yes.
Whereas
I think a new Star Wars film is an event. You
just got
the cat's just coming to agree with me.
No, I'm saying you can't show 6 films before a midnight showing as easily as you could show 2 films.
So just show the good ones.
Well, if we get permission, we're going to show them in hatchet order.
Right.
Which is 4, 2, 3, 5, 6.
Right.
The idea is watching the prequel trilogy tells you who Darth Vader is.
Yep.
The story should always have been told 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Right.
But if you have the first one, then you jump back in time and see all the stuff Obi-Wan Kenobi is talking about.
Right.
It gives you an idea of...
Scene.
You've got that thing of Darth Vader being the bad guy. He's still the bad guy, just the bad guy. Anakin Skywalker is a separate person at that point. And then you see what happened to Anakin Skywalker, and then you've got the surprise that he can be corrupted so badly.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you have Luke find out, and then you have Return of the Jedi. And it's a very respected order.
Yeah.
Like people have done their own cuts of the films, but
it's respected because they've missed out Phantom Menace. That's why it's respected.
Phantom Menace, they said there's about 20 minutes in Phantom Menace that is plot specific, but it's not enough to justify showing it.
Again.
I would like to show the hatchet order Star Wars films, but I think Disney might say all or nothing.
Yeah.
And then it might be that we'll show one a night for a whole week,
and
then the 7th night will be the film release. But if not, we'll probably just do like a tweet along or something and just watch it and go from there. So yeah, it's an interesting time. It's playing around. Anyway, back to games, video games. Our Euro Game Expo show has been a lot of film talk. So let's go through our top... Well, no, let's go through what we're planning on doing first. Before you can get there, we're going to be driving.
Yes.
Which is a new one for me, because you normally drive to London and then get the train from Cockfosters.
Cockfosters, we get the tube from right at the edge of North London.
Oh dear. Saying about Cockfosters, my partner's little girl has got some modelling clay.
Right.
And she had 2 balls rolled up in a sausage, and she arranged them to make the cock and balls design. And then left it like that and went away.
Yeah.
And she, apparently, I don't know what she was making, but Claire justified it as it being a fish.
Right.
And it just looks like cock and balls.
Yeah.
So, that was very funny, frankly. So, we're driving up. We're leaving early.
Yes.
Because we need to avoid the commute.
Yes.
So, probably a 6 o'clock start.
I was thinking 7.
6 o'clock start. Then we'll have time for a breakfast somewhere.
I think we'll have time for breakfast for 7, to be fair.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. It's 2.5 hours. We need to be there for 9.
Yeah, no.
So,
Why do you need to be there for 9? Don't let us in until 10.
We need to queue. I don't want to be at the back of the queue and then we end up waiting 3 hours to get in.
Yeah, maybe.
So we've got top 10 to get through.
Yeah.
We've only got one day. So we've got a cameraman with us, potentially, from America, ex-military.
Yeah.
Can shoot an apple on a string while it's swinging, so that's useful. He won't have a gun, but he will have a camera and he'll shoot with the camera. So he'll be GoProing it up, and hopefully we'll be able to use the GoPro ourselves, because he won't be allowed to get in when we get in.
Right.
I'm currently speaking to the organisers saying that our cameraman can't come in with us because there's only 2 tickets allowed. He has bought a ticket, can he come in with us? If he can't, I'm just going to steal the camera for an hour or so and just film the first hour, because that first hour is the quietest it will be.
Yep.
And then we will be wandering around, getting as much gaming, and I don't know if it's the games I'm more excited for this year or the actual hardware stuff. Like a lot of the VR stuff, because we've both tried Oculus Rift before.
Yep.
Neither of us have tried Sony VR or Vive.
Yep.
I'm kind of hoping Microsoft have got a HoloLens somewhere just buried in a cupboard, where if you ask, say the right words,
just one more thing,
they'll just go, yeah, come in here. Because you wouldn't need a big room.
Yeah.
You just need a table. Let me play that Minecraft demo.
Yeah.
Because there's no mention of Minecraft in the entire thing. And this is the problem, because Microsoft and Sony have their own booths. They haven't come out and said, we're showing this or this or this. So Microsoft have played the cards quite close to their chest, really. We know now that they're showing Fallout.
Yep.
But it's not anywhere on the Eurogamer website at all. If you're looking for tickets and you go, oh, I wonder if Fallout's there, it won't say it. And if you look at the Eurogamer's Twitter feed, the amount of people who are asking if Fallout's going to be there.
No mention.
And no confirmation at all. But AC Bongos and Microsoft have said, and the Bethesda PR team have confirmed that Microsoft will be showing it. Not that Sony won't, but just that Microsoft will. So I'm hoping they've got that combi van that they had at Gamescom.
Yeah, that would be quite cool.
I'd quite like to see that. But we will get our Vault Boy masks.
I'm right.
And I'll be hopefully wearing that for the rest of my week.
Yeah.
Just going to work.
Buried in it.
Do you know, like, Cartoon Face in Ideal with Johnny Vegas?
Yep.
I think that was his name. Yeah, or basically him.
Cartoon Head.
That'll be it. So, let's go for our top 10s. We'll go through one each. So, your first on your list.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, is Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Now, do you need to play this, or are you just going to look at this?
Depends what they are doing there. It does say playable, so
yeah.
we'll see,
this is the thing.
Because I'd just like to see it running a bit more.
Yeah.
So all we've got so far is the teaser they released, where there was a lot of killing.
This is it.
A little bit of exploring. So I'd just like to see a bit more.
I have a bit of a kind of a half and half thing with shows like Eurogamer. Like with Rise of the Tomb Raider, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I don't need convincing, but I am curious as to how it plays. I want to see what they're putting out.
Yep.
Because, of course, it's like getting an advance go on something you're excited about. But if, say, there was a queue for an hour for that, or an hour for Morpheus,
probably just stand
I'd
on the
absolutely
shoulder.
go to Morpheus and just go, I'll watch Rise of the Tomb Raider running. And this is the thing, like, when I did my list, a lot of it was like, well, because there's loads on it. I mean, like Star Wars Battlefront, which is your next one on your list, I desperately want to play.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a huge queue.
Probably.
Because it's, I think, 32 player they're going to be running.
Yeah, but at least then that way they get
this is it.
Queue a bit.
So it's worth sitting there and doing. I just hope they do like they did with Battlefield a couple of years ago, where they had a queue for the PlayStation version and a queue for the Xbox version.
Yeah.
Because the PlayStation version was so much shorter, and I think now the Xbox One version will probably be the shortest queue, and I'd be happy with that because
we've got Xbox One.
Well, we'll talk about that later, maybe. So yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's we might get some freebies.
Maybe.
Normally they give out, because they gave out the little Hitman.
Yep, got that
previously.
in the living room.
I'd quite like because they've handed this out before, the pickaxe bottle opener.
Ooh.
I'd quite like one of those as well.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing I'm going to try and find out before we go, which stalls are offering prizes and promotions. Like the Fallout stand, having limited amounts of those masks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going there first. Whatever happens, Fallout. I mean, either way, Fallout 4 is going to be the first one I go to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it is the one that I've waited for years.
Yeah.
There is nothing else, even at that show, that I care about as much.
Yeah.
Like, if they said, you can spend the whole day here if you want, you can get off whenever you like, the full game's available, I would quite happily
spend all day,
go all that way and just play Fallout for 8 hours and then leave. But, so Battlefront, hopefully we'll get to play. That'd be good if we can both
That's
get in
one
the
of the
queue.
ones I'd actually quite like to play.
I'd like to be on the opposite team to you for that one, though.
Thanks.
Because, it'd be good to play both sides, because then we can say what the Imperial side is like and what the Rebel side is like. Not because I want to kill you or anything.
Liar.
And I've got there, everyone's gone to the Rapture.
Yeah.
Because I haven't got a PlayStation 4.
This does intrigue me for that reason.
I
I'll
really
probably
want
never
to play it. Yeah,
so.
I really want to play it. I went to Hughes the other day to
Right.
see a colleague who is now an arsehole. I went to Hughes and they had PlayStation 4s available for hire.
For hire?
You can just rent them as a lease product. And I did think there are a few games on there I do want to play. And I did think I'd probably only get 3 or 4 games. And then it would sit there and I'd still get most of my games for the Xbox One. So I could then take it back after 3 months and go, don't want it now.
Thanks.
And that'll be fine. So I may end up doing that.
Oh.
And I don't know. I have just done a 58-hour week, though, and I worked out my salary would be enough to buy a PlayStation 4 and have rent money left.
Oh.
And I did think, so this might swing me, basically, because that'll be the week after Eurogames, I'll get that paid.
Yep.
So if the Sony stand is enough to convince me that they're exclusives,
They might have made a sale.
they will probably sell it to me. And that's the key. And what is it? Tokyo Game Show today, isn't it?
Yep.
They announced that in Japan they're knocking $100 off the console.
So
taking
something
it down
similar
to
here.
320 quid. And if they could do... It's about that now, isn't it? 350.
You see some sub 300,
Yeah.
but it depends what you get with
So,
it. So
yeah, I think if they can knock that down to 250, I'll go all over that immediately. So, yeah, everyone's gone to the Rapture is from, oh, Christ, what are they called? China Room, I think they're called.
Yep, China Room.
Who made The Arrester, which is a really good experience game. It got into the news last week because their soundtrack CD, or soundtrack album, as a download, is classical music that sold more than any other classical music album. It sold enough to place in the charts for official download charts, but Classic FM refused to acknowledge it. Now, we've had this before, like they allowed Skyrim in, and some have been allowed through. Yeah, so there is a growing kind of pressure on at the moment to accept some of this music because the soundtrack is beautiful. It's the only part of the game I've really looked at in depth because I don't want to spoil anything for myself.
Yep.
The story, I don't know how much you know about it.
Limited bits from what I've read.
Basically, the Rapture's happened.
Yep.
And you have, I think it's something like you have an hour of real time.
Yeah.
And you can't do everything in the town.
Yeah.
So every time you play it, you have to try and remember what you've done already, and you can find all the different stories of the people that you've met, and that intrigues me more.
Yeah.
That whole thing of what would you do for that last bit of time? Would you try and solve a mystery? What would you be able to find out, and what would you go? And being set in a little kind of British village, there's a lot like where I grew up.
Yeah.
Is also going to be very, very interesting. So I just want to give it a go.
Yep.
Because I'd be interested to see how you can demo that.
Yeah.
Is it just going to be a very limited area?
Yeah. So do you get like a 15-minute bite or something?
And will it be headphones or will it just be you've got the screen and no sound? Because with no sound, I feel that would be a very empty experience.
Yeah.
So I will have to try it, and it will be one of those games that because it's been released, there won't be a massive queue. Sometimes that's nice to be able to jump in. I expect a massive queue for my next game, though, Guitar Hero Live. Now, there's a Rock Band stage.
There is.
I have no interest in Rock Band, because Rock Band is Rock Band.
Right.
They've not really changed anything from the previous Rock Band.
Yep.
Guitar Hero has the most to prove.
Yes.
This FMV footage that I like, but a lot of people have found awful, I don't think it really matters. I don't think it's going to affect the gameplay that much. I want to play it and see for myself and have the opportunity to hopefully play Guitar Hero without being on a stage. Without being on a stage in front of people. Where last time I did that, I was at MGPX a couple of years ago, and I was drunk and I couldn't hit a single bloody note. So I don't want to do that. I want to go on. I want to play a Queen song, or worse, Bon Jovi, just something I know inside and out, so I know what's coming, and then actually experience it for what it is. And again, that will decide whether I'll buy it or not, because it is again another one that's on the edge. I'm basically using Eurogame as a shopping trip.
Yeah,
just coming out. I do want to buy it. Well, this is the thing. Like, sometimes it's a case of you go for the community side of it. Now, for us, going on a Thursday, that's not the best time to go for the community side of it. We want to report back, but we're living in an age where most games release with so much exposure. You're not even getting a unique look. I mean, some of this stuff is first time hands-on, but every site will be covering it. Yeah. So, I just think if I want to try it, I'll try it. And hopefully it'll be interesting. And you've got one that I deliberately left off mine. What have you got?
The Division, which has had my eye for a little while now. It's been pushed back. We talked about the show a couple of weeks ago. It's been pushed back to 2016. But when they first announced it, it looked like it's very open-worldy. Squad, I suppose squad shooter still, but there was that big open world element that people thought, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
As more's come out, there are concerns whether it's a little bit on rails. So it's not quite as open world as it first suggested.
No.
But I'm just interested to see where it's going, how it plays.
Yeah.
If it really is for me, I suppose, I get hands on with it.
So this is why I've not got it on my list, is I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in because I don't think anything they can show me is going to persuade me either way. I've got to just put my faith in that original concept and think that, okay, they haven't achieved that yet, but they've delayed it for a reason. And when it came out, everybody's like, oh God, it's just a regular squad-based shooter.
Yeah. We
were expecting more. And so I believe they're going to do that. But, I'm going to have to, when you try that, I'll have to toddle off and try something else because I just can't. I don't even want to see it running at all. I'm quite happy to take your opinion on that afterwards and just sort of say, right, that's what you thought of it, and whether it sold it to you. But I don't. What I'm worried about is I'll play it and I'll find it underwhelming and then not want to play it in full, because that's not really fair. On a game that has been pushed back, it's going to be an earlier build. And it's most likely going to be the build they showed the footage of at E3.
Before,
So it's just going to be a case of playing with the combat. How does that work? Which is important because if
that's why I want to get a little bit of play time if I can, just to see how it does work. Install screen again.
That's fine. It's fine. I've got the Vive, the HTC Vive. That's the first time the UK's had it.
Yes.
There's a few indie developers have got it running. So my plan is at the moment to peg out which ones they are because. In previous years, they've had a Vive stand, which has a massive queue, and then you can walk up to an indie developer and go, I'd like to play your game, and you just straight on. So that's my plan with that. And it is the one that everybody's pegging to be the winner in the VR war, because it's the one that's got the outward-facing cameras. Is more accurate, and they said it's a lot more fluid and going through. And I was reading an interview, because they've got a developer session while we're there, which I'm tempted to see, but they do put on YouTube afterwards, but it's Chet Falazek from Valve talking about how they're going to be using VR, and they were saying that they've built Portal in VR now, and they said that the biggest difference you notice when you're playing on VR is the rooms look huge. Like if you're looking at a screen, a test chamber and GLaDOS might look a couple of inches, and you've got this kind of weird scaled reality, whereas when you're in it, you look up, that's how high up that ceiling is. You've got this sense of scale because there's only your character who you don't see as a point of reference. And so I found that quite interesting. I'd never considered that really. I always thought about the immersion, but I never really thought about actually how the world around you would be realised. So that's... I would quite like to see it. And if they've got Portal running on the Vive and available, I will be all over that. Because I would quite love to just wander around in the test chamber 5 minutes and then come out again. I go, yep, I'm fine, thanks. I don't want to die. But,
Next 3, all matching.
Yeah, which is not surprising. Lego Dimensions. Especially with the trailer they released this week with all the voice casts. With
Doctor Who, The Simpsons.
Gary Oldman as the bad guy, which is amazing. And bringing Michael J. Fox back as well to actually play Marty. Because they were quite clear they wanted as many of the proper voices
as they could get.
The Telltale Games, when they did Back to the Future, the series, they had Christopher Lloyd and they had Thomas F. Wilson, but they didn't get Marty McFly played by Michael J. Fox. He had a cameo in the last episode, but he wasn't well at that point. He was very ill, and so it was a shame because it kind of the voice is good, but you know it's not him. Whereas here,
you can't quite.
You watch the trailer and it is Michael J. Fox as Martin McFly. It's like watching the footage of Eric Stoltz as Martin McFly. Kind of that was the weird bit for me. So this, I'm interested to see what they're showing off. I mean, it's just going to be a Lego game. It's going to be like every other Lego game there's ever been.
Quite possibly.
But I don't care because every other Lego game has been brilliant. I kind of hope what they're going to let you do is just have a few figures to play around with and just see how they match up.
That's part of my interest. I want to see what they're going to show, what they're going to let you tinker with,
because
how far they'll let you go.
To give context, I've played 2 Skylanders games at Eurogamer. Both of those had the figures able to be adjusted and played with, so that was good. Sometimes they lock it off and just say you're playing as those characters. I don't think there'll be any benefit to them doing this, but this is another one that's at the moment. Now I'm in a position where I might be able to afford it if I save. It is something I would quite like to get the kids for Christmas. Have that as a joint present for everyone and get a couple of level packs as well. And then when they come around Christmas week, just go, knock yourselves out, build what you bloody want. So this will be good. And there's always a chance for a free Lego Man.
Maybe. Who knows?
So, it's Lego.
It is.
With the Skylanders, they gave away Skylanders trading cards. So Lego needs to up the game. And if there's anything, they know what they're doing with bricks. Homefront Revolution. Now, I'm surprised you put this on. I didn't know if this would be up your street, really.
I'm curious by
you never played the original,
I didn't, no. It was one I kind of always intended to pick up at some point, but never did. Didn't get those games like that. But I'm just curious. Again, it's a curiosity thing, see how it plays. I kind of like the occupation genre of TV, film,
Yeah.
game. Emma and I recently finished watching Falling Skies,
Mm-hmm.
which is again was an occupation, alien force occupation one on that occasion. But yeah, just like that whole sort of genre type interests me. So I'm interested to see what they show, what you can get hands on. It is almost a play test for me.
Yeah.
Whether I do want to buy it when it comes out.
Well, this is it. 'Cause
Or
for me,
if it is
it
yeah,
a
it's
worthy
not quite for me.
sequel? Because I loved the original.
Yeah.
I thought the original was incredibly well done from a storyline point of view. There was a few issues gameplay-wise, but that doesn't matter in a good storyline.
Yeah.
And so I want to see how that story progresses. And again, like you said, it's got elements of... I think we mentioned on here. It's got elements of Call of Duty. It's got elements of Battlefield. Elements of Far Cry.
Elements of Metro.
All in together.
Yeah.
And if handled well, that could be an incredibly competent and maybe a surprise hit.
For sure, yeah, definitely.
Considering it was vaporware, not vaporware, it was shelved at one point because the company THQ went under. And then, as we mentioned, Sony VR, which is now no longer Project Morpheus, as of this morning.
See, for me, this interested me because of the VR technology. I missed that the Vive was going to be there somehow.
Yeah.
So I kind of lumped them all together.
Yeah.
So again, if the HoloLens is a surprise bonus, great. I want to see how this VR technology is panning out.
And Morpheus I'm interested in because this is the one that they've said is going to be the most comfortable for glasses wearers.
Yeah.
So I'm interested by that because I don't think it's going to work very well for me.
But we'll see.
We will give a fair and justified thing. I imagine what most of it will be is as later on when we come to talk about the assembly. Hopefully we'll get to play that on there.
Yeah.
Because
and again, that's why.
Yeah,
I put that in there.
I've done a lot of research into the assembly this week, and I've got some very interesting views on it.
Yeah.
Destiny.
Yes. Well, this comes back to again.
Because you don't want to buy it, but you do want to play it.
Or it's more, do I want to buy it?
Yeah.
So, it's all very well talking about these great things that it's supposed to do, but I'd kind of like to see it for myself.
I've watched it running this morning.
Mm-hmm.
My partner's son has been playing it.
Experimenting on.
He played it this afternoon when he got home from school. He basically said, "Mum, can you pick me up from school?" And she said, "Are you all right?" And he went, "Yeah, I don't really want to walk." And she hung up the phone and I went, "He wants to play Destiny." She's like, "What?" I went, "It's a new game day. Come on, Claire. Step your game up."
Look, he went to school.
And I said, "That's been installed on there," because I had to make sure it all went on because he did a pre-order for it and it didn't take payment and it all went all over the place. So I kind of made sure that was on and ready.
Yeah.
And he came back, frustratingly skipped the opening cinematic, which pissed me off so much. And he went and got a knife at that point and just goes howling, going, "Sorry, you've just spent £40 on what is going to be a small amount of story, and you've just skipped the story."
Yeah.
Like, people complain there's no story, and you're the reason there's no story because you just skipped the bloody story. But I will say, this is a big step up in terms of storytelling, and I'm actually creating single player content. Well, I say single player content, no content in Destiny single player. But if you're the sort of person that wants to play the campaign and enjoy it, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
A lot of kind of space battle stuff. Important bits, and regardless of what you feel about Dinklebot versus what's his name,
Nathan Drake's.
Northbot, North, isn't it?
No, North. So I can't remember the
it's either him or bloody.
No, you're right. No, North. I just can't remember the actor's name. I just remember Nathan Drake.
Listening to it today, I'm kind of pleased that they've got somebody who they can just get a huge amount of dialogue from.
Yeah.
Because the ghost doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
And it's not repetition of the same things. And it's relevant and it's fleshing the story out.
Good.
And it's almost like having a companion, which it should always have been.
Yeah,
for sure. It is your companion.
Yeah. That's why I'm interested to see if this stuff really
And he was talking about how before he found you in the ruins of the Cosmodrome, he kind of looked elsewhere and it just did everything the original game should have done. And it kind of still pisses me off that they didn't.
Yeah.
But it feels for me sufficient enough to say this is a step up and it is almost a whole new game. But I'm still not going to pay the full 40 quid yet. I'm still annoyed that that's the bonus, that's the bargain price for people who own everything, is to pay the same price as the disc version of everything. But as far as I've seen, it is very exciting, and this is the other thing. with Destiny's storyline, I never felt urgency.
Yeah.
With Oryx's arrival,
feel a bit
everything's
of
going to
urgency.
shit, and it's intense.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said the word "whoa" so many times, and I loved that.
Yeah.
Because hearing someone like experiencing the game and seeing him
Standing there throwing him with a knife.
No, I was trying not to let him know I was watching. I was standing quietly in a corner with a knife. But
Don't ignore
if he
me.
knew he was being watched, he wouldn't have reacted honestly to it. And like, I don't want to play it just yet. I want to sit down and play it through properly on my own.
Yeah.
So I wasn't trying to get too much of it, but I wanted to be able to talk about it on the show, really.
Yeah.
Because frankly, we talked enough about Destiny. So then when it actually comes out for us to both go, not played it.
Yeah.
We've got good reasons not to have played it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've witnessed it enough, so we
Yeah.
can say, if you've got the game and you've got ready funds, jump on it. There's no reason not to.
Yeah.
The content is worth the money. But, well, I say the content's worth money. We haven't had the final raid unlocked, and he's only just
for
the
sure,
story.
yeah.
But even what I saw already made me think like this feels like a new game.
Maybe it is, worth investing.
So yeah, maybe we'll both have a look at that.
Yeah.
I can't see the queues being huge for it, so it might be worth jumping in. I just worry it'll only be multiplayer. Might be the new Crucible
maybe,
maps.
yeah, maybe.
And if so, I won't have any interest
No,
in that.
but that's what I'm curious to
Yeah.
see what...
I would be
what's
interested to
the score is.
see what they have as decorations. And if they have
And
any
if we can
freebies.
nick it.
Yeah. If they've got another sparrow I can break. Right, I've got the Tomorrow Children.
Right.
Which is
What the
another...
hell is the Tomorrow Children?
This is another PlayStation 4 seller for me.
Right.
It's
This used to be a TV show on CITV.
it's kind of similar to that.
Right.
If you imagine Minecraft, right?
Right.
What do children do on Minecraft? They
Build.
just build.
Yeah.
Imagine if Minecraft was secretly like the Matrix, and children are
Right.
building and thinking they're playing a game, but actually they're building for like an oppressive nation.
Right.
That's kind of what the Children seems to be.
Right, I see.
Children are building and creating, but they're actually being made to, and it's the sort of thing of
Right,
fighting
okay.
back. There's so little information on it. They've kind of, it's weird. Like the world seems like a computer simulation, but then it's got like inflatable trees.
Yeah.
It looks stunning, and I'm incredibly hooked on the idea of it, and I want to play it, and I want to own it. And it's from Studio Japan, who have helped curate some of the best indie games available on PlayStation. So again, this is another one that you can forget, like your bonus content for games. You can forget things like the Order. I don't care about those games. I want the smaller games.
Yeah.
I want sell to me, and Tomorrow Children is one that is definitely up there.
Yeah.
And having a chance to actually play the bloody thing
Yeah.
will at least give me some idea,
It's
hopefully,
worth
of what's going on. Because regardless, I want it.
Yep.
But I'd quite like to know what it is. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah. I put Disney Infinity 3.0 because I've never played any Disney Infinity games.
And as a Star Wars thing lured you in.
Yeah, partly, but there's also the other elements because the old ones are also compatible, aren't they?
Yep.
So as Annabelle gets older, there's elements there which I think she would enjoy.
Yeah. Oh, there is.
So
There is.
it's, for me, it is the first proper Infinity kind of experience, really. I've seen all the stuff in the shops.
Yeah.
Never touched it,
Well,
never
I've
played it. So
got the first two,
yeah,
and my children have had very little interest in the second one, even though I bought all the stuff in the
Yeah.
start. Like every Marvel character they had available at launch, I bought. They did a bumper box on Amazon for £100. I was like, I don't know. It's like, it didn't include the game; it had everything else. And yeah, I sort of set it up the other day, thinking I kind of want to play this myself.
Yeah.
Like, and Disney Infinity 3, it's not the Star Wars that got me excited. It was the Inside Out level pack, because the figures look exactly like the characters in
Yeah.
Inside Out. Like everything else is pretty much stylized.
Yep.
But the Inside Out must look like the Inside Out characters. I kind of just wanted the figures.
yeah,
It was almost like why people buy amiibos. I kind of felt like I'll just play the Inside Out stuff. It'll be fine.
I'll have a
I
look.
can't play it, but
Yeah.
I'll just go over those figures first. I'll get the game later. I went to pick the game up thinking, oh, let's have a look, see how much it is. It's not hugely expensive. And they said, oh, if you've already got the game, you can just buy the download of the game
Yeah.
and then get a starter pack of things. I was like, oh, that's brilliant, I'll look at that. So the game itself was £45,
Yep.
which comes with the portal of the game, you first of all pack and 2 figures. The download for Disney Infinity 3
Yep.
is £28,
Okay.
and the first level pack is £30.
Okay.
So I can save money by spending £58.
Yeah.
Like it boggles the mind. Like
Yeah.
it should just be you buy the level pack, And if you've got the portal already,
You're
that's
okay
enough.
to go. Yeah.
It'll give you the content. Instead, I've got to buy the content for a lot more. So, I'm going to be holding off. But
that's partly why I'm interested, though, because it is something
once this comes down,
a lot of money on. So.
Usually at Christmas, they put this in sale.
Yeah.
And once it drops below 30 quid, I'll be on it. All over it. Because the figures that come out, they've got Tron, they've got Pixar, they've got... Oh, they've got Inside Out, rather, and they've got Star Wars. And that's almost enough, just as it is. Yeah. So, I've got The Escapists, Walking Dead.
I did look at this. Didn't arouse my interest enough.
No. Well, The Escapists I have a kind of love-hate relationship with. Published by Team 17. It's a good little indie game. But it kind of just didn't quite do it right for me. I kind of wanted it to be cannon fodder in prison. But The Walking Dead thing I would quite like to try. Because it's 20 quid to download. And that's a lot of money for something I can't try, so...
It's a good opportunity.
Yeah, saying that, Castle Crashers. Did you ever get that on a 360?
No.
It's one of my favourite. It's like Golden Axe,
right?
Basically, but with an internet sense of humour.
Okay.
So there's a scene where you're on a ship and it's ninjas versus pirates,
or
ninjas versus Vikings or something. It's all very, very funny. It's put together. They've got music that was used, created by Newsground users. It was fantastic. It cost like £8. And I bought it, and I put the Xbox One on the other night, and I noticed there's Castle Crashers Remastered, which I didn't know was coming.
Well, they do.
And it was free, because I'd already bought it. For a limited period, anybody who's bought it can get it for free on the Xbox One.
Can't complain.
Which, and all the previous DLC, even if you never owned it, is in the game. You just unlock it in progression rather than purchase. But I think it's $12.99 on its own, which is a fucking bargain. Because frankly, it's one of the best multiplayer fighting games. In terms of it is Streets of Rage, Golden Axe. It is those games, Double Dragon, but with the best sense of humour you can imagine.
I'm going to stand up again for a bit.
Yeah, you're fun. So if you got that, people at home, get all over it. Now, this next one, I wish I put on my list because I am interested in trying it.
Yeah, Mad Max. Same. I would like to give it a try. Reviews have all been pretty positive.
Yeah.
I just want to see how it plays. If it is something for me, do I want to invest? Especially with a lot of these other games coming sort of November-ish time.
What part interests you most in trying? Is it the combat, the creating, the exploration?
Exploration, mainly.
See, I just want to get in the car and drive.
But that's part of the exploration.
I just want to drive because every review I've read, it says it's a very controlled game in the sense that there are loads of open spaces where there's nothing at all.
Yeah.
But later you unlock car combat and you can have a fight that might drive on for 20 miles.
Yeah.
And so you need that space for that to work. But it's weird because if you don't get to that point, you just think, there's fuck all there.
Yeah.
And I'll be interested to see how they show that off. Because I would imagine they'd have to show it later in the game where you've already got a lot of stuff unlocked and done.
But we've seen that before. You go like Hitman Absolution, was it? We saw a couple of years ago. It was basically this mission.
Yeah.
So you played that mission. So they could conceivably say, right, start at this point. You've got access to the car, so you can get in the car. You can walk around, do what you want. You've got time limited or a mission that you can approach in 2 or 3 different ways.
Yeah, I'm
curious to see how it plays and if it's for me again. So again, it's a purely selfish shopping list type thing, but I'm curious. I'm very curious about it, especially the reviews have been so strong.
Yeah. Fallout 4, I've put on there.
Yeah. Given.
Frankly, it wouldn't have been on either of our lists if we hadn't really dug and dug.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't have known. And it's obvious. It was going to be there.
I knew from the point where Bethesda tweeted about the masks being EGX, so there was a clue something would be there, but it was very vague.
I'm kind of gutted that potentially it's not going to be as big a display as they had previously, but at the same time, it's still playable.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's playable.
I don't care if it's not, to be honest.
Because in previous ones, a lot of it was just go and watch a video, but I'd quite happy to watch a video because there's that one that was shown at QuakeCon that never got released to the public. I'd quite like to just see that. I'd quite like to see, I don't know if you saw the special video they've released. They're doing little black and white animations. They're doing one for each of the stat names.
Right, okay.
And the first one, it kind of runs as if you were in the vault when you were being introduced to the concept. And it's very, very funny. So
I think I've seen the links, but I've just never got around to watching them.
It's worth watching. It's a couple of minutes and it's joy. Fallout 4. Yeah. And like I said, I could be there all day if I can.
Yeah.
I quite happily just fight people off with a barbed wire on a stick.
Huh.
I could pretend it was. I could pretend it was. I could pretend it was cosplay and actually just take over.
Yeah.
That'll be mine. Similarly, you're going to be finally finding out whether you really give a shit about Halo 5.
Yeah, I'm curious. Just what I want to see. I don't know if I can't do the co-op as we discussed before. I'm not sure if I really want to invest, but this is an opportunity to have a look at least, so I can be nosy.
Again,
nothing else.
I hope this isn't just multiplayer.
Yeah,
because the multiplayer they've already had a beta for that.
Yeah.
Like, I've played it and it just felt like Halo 2, which is not a bad thing. Halo 2
multiplayer
was the best
multiplayer,
multiplayer, but at the same time, I kind of wanted more than just red vs blue. Yeah, we shall see. Dropsy.
Yes, I need a drink while you explain Dropsy. Would you like one?
I would like a drink,
Oh.
yes. So, Dropsy is a point and hug adventure.
Right.
So basically, think old...
You're blocking the fridge. This is priority one.
Right, hang on, let's move.
Priority one stuff here, folks.
We're not going to edit any of this out, because I really cannot be bothered this week to edit
It's like every week then.
Shut it, you. I took out that bit the other day where you said all those racist things about Obama.
Well,
You know,
Dropsy.
you can't just say...
Explain Dropsy to the kids.
So, yeah, Drops is a kind of retro point-and-click adventure, but you're playing as a clown who a town hates because they think that you're a terrible monster who may have done something awful, and all you want to do is be loved, and so you have to go around and help people and get hugs off of them, while also exploring your psychology and finding out all the traumas that made you into what you are. So, yeah, it's kind of a whimsical adventure where you're the boss character.
So basically, you're a Northampton clown.
Basically, yeah, you're a Northampton clown. Or, like, you're basically a nice Pennywise. And
Nice Pennywise.
I almost bought this week. And I was just worried it wouldn't run on the... Because I've bought the Falcon back to life.
Oh.
But I'm worried it won't run on it, even though it's retro theme doesn't mean it's going to run.
No.
So what I might do is go and play it and then hug the developers until they give me a code for it. That's my plan.
Yeah.
Just keep hugging them.
And then they'll be tweeting, we go, Phil Jupiter's a code.
I shouldn't I wear my jacket with my badges on, and just because he's got that curly moustache now, so wax on moustache, and I could just go, like to play a game, or whatever he would do. Right, now, next ones.
Can I slightly flip my order for the curious ones? Purely because what was the second one on my list kind of ties in with what you've said about Dropsy. It's an indie game called Galactose Intolerant. Now,
I'm lactose intolerant.
Hey,
I can't eat any.
Can't watch the Fantastic Four sequel.
I can't eat any space milk.
No. But so Galactose Intolerant. And the idea of reading about it is that basically you've got this galactic emperor who just wants to be liked. So he's trying to take this awesome selfie with all the planets in the line. But as he moves the planets, it fucks everything else up for everybody else. Kind of like if you move the moon, for us, tides would go all to shit and the Earth would be fucked.
You say that, but that's just a theory, right?
Well, we'll test it out after Eurogame. We'll blow a hole in the moon on the Friday. But so it intrigued me. The artwork was what caught my eye.
Yeah, because that's the one with the shark.
The shark with the 4 legs.
Yeah.
So the artwork caught my eye, but the idea also intrigues me. I'd like to see how it plays, what they show, how complex or simplified it is, because obviously there's these ramifications of doing stuff. I'd like to see how that plays out. Yeah. So.
What's this? This is like that little section which we're calling the Curious 5.
Yes.
Where it basically said there's stuff that maybe we don't know a lot about, or we do know a lot about, but we're not
weren't
entirely
interested
sure
before, but now we're starting to get interested.
And so I've also, to go along with that, the Left Field Collective as a whole, which is has also got this game in it, which I'm now going to load. We've done this before.
Simpsons Tapped Out. What?
No, it's not Simpsons Tapped Out. It's called, I think, Man or Goat. Yeah, Man or Goat. This is...
you told me about this before we started.
So the Left Field Collective basically is a collection of very small little games. There we go, so that's Man or Goat.
Right.
We'll come out of poo bucket mode, we don't want that.
Okay.
So what you have to do, Rob, you have to tell me if this is a man making a goat noise or a goat making a goat noise. Alright?
It's not quite porn star or superhero.
Here we go. It's not, but it's a real thing.
Person, man. Can you play it again?
Oh, come on a minute.
Goat. Man. Oh! That's a very sick goat. Oh no, I missed that one because I was talking. Goat. Man. 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 That genuinely can be either, especially the picture of that goat. 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 Man. Goat. Man.
So there you go. You
Disturbingly well there.
did very well. You know your difference between goats and men.
Yeah, well, men just as goats.
That's if you'd have been quicker answering, you'd have had the high score there. 'Cause that's more than I've ever got right.
Yeah.
This guy basically went around country fairs, I think, recording goats,
Yep.
and then sat in his car making goat noises and made a game out of it. And it's in the Left Field Collective.
Well.
I want to meet this man, just shake him by the hand and go, well done you. Because some people would
Can I do
go,
the sequel, please?
I want to make an app. It's
Yeah.
like, do you? Yeah, I'm going to make an app. What are you going to do? Go do a game where you get to guess if it's a man or a goat. No, you won't. And he has.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's what Left Field Collective is all about. It's not necessarily games that are really very good.
Yeah.
Or that will ever hit high acclaim. They're just people who've had an idea and seen it through.
Yeah.
And I always like that. So, yeah, it's interesting to go through. And also, these people are the people who make the games. They will stand by it.
Yeah.
And if you hate it, they're there to see you hate it.
Yeah.
And it will kill them. So that's always fun as well.
Kill them softly with your song.
Similarly, Typo Man.
Yes.
A Nintendo game.
Right.
Coming to Wii U. Where you are a man called Hero.
Okay.
Who is made out of the letters H, E, R, and O.
Okay.
And you basically fight things by sticking letters onto them. So, for example,
Right.
you could be fighting, I don't know, like a
Troll.
troll, and you put an S on it, and
Right.
it'd walk off,
Right.
in theory.
Okay.
Stroll, obviously. Not trolls, plural.
That's clever, that.
Yeah, and so by using the letters and changing what the object is suddenly not an enemy anymore.
That's
Now
very
that
clever.
could,
I like that.
it could go one of either way.
Yeah.
It could be brilliant, like it could be scribbled
Or
off.
it could
as an
explain
adventure.
how terrible people's spelling is.
Yeah, or it could just be awful. But I'm very curious about it, so it's in the curious side. There's a lot of Nintendo games, actually. I think most of my games in my curious thing are
Nintendo.
pretty much Nintendo
Some of them
stuff.
did catch my eye.
Because as an owner of the 3DS that I've not touched for 3 months, I kind of want to know what's coming.
Yeah. I want a reason to play it.
Yeah, at the same time, with the NX on the way, I'm also not that bothered.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping a few of these will go through. But you've also got a new Total War game.
Yes, the Warhammer one. I just would like to see what a big battle game is like. I know the guys at Sega are going to be there because trying to show it off because it's kind of quite soon. I can't remember the exact release date.
Yeah.
But, hopefully we'll catch up with them and have a little look at it. And as I said, I'm curious to see what it looks like. As I've got older, I'm curious for this sort of big battle type thing. I've grown more patient as I've got older, so I have more time for these sort of...
Yeah, and the
pitch
Warhammer
battle
world
games.
is a little bit more fantastical.
Yeah.
So, or a lot more fantastical
Well,
than
yeah.
medieval Europe. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing it run. I won't be able to play it. The last game like this I actually had was what was it called? It was a Warhammer game, and it was on the PlayStation 1. And you basically thinking of Kane. Something like that. No,
Wrath of Cain?
Not Wrath of Cain. I can't remember what it's called now. But you could move your archers around,
Right.
and as you'd like ambush people. Just to let you know, I've also booked us in
Oh.
to play Warhammer: The End Times Vermintide,
Oh.
which is a co-op giant rat fighting game set in the Warhammer
Right.
world. We've got interview with the developers
Yep.
and gameplay time
Oh,
on
beautiful.
Thursday afternoon. So that will tie nicely
Yeah.
if the two go together. We might be Warhammering it up.
We might.
Our friends at Tin Man Games,
Yep.
who do the adventure books,
Yes.
they've just announced they're now adapting Warhammer to their series as well.
Nice.
So interactive Warhammer fiction, which will be
I like that.
very cool. On my list, Star Fox Zero.
Okay.
Couldn't give a shit about this when they released
Yep.
it at E3. But
you
it's Star Fox.
It
I
is.
want to love it. It's by Platinum Games,
Yeah.
who are one of my favourite game designers. But I just don't care. So I want to play it, so I care.
Yeah. See, I don't care for Star Fox.
No. I had Lilac Wars, or Star Fox 64, and I adored it. It was because it was a really great space game at the time. It's not aged brilliantly well, but this
A
one
lot
just...
of N64 games haven't aged
No.
particularly well. So.
But that was always that was fair to the SNES version, and this version seems fair to those as well, visually. But that's the problem. Visually, it doesn't look like a step up. So
Can I just go
wanna
for a
have
tangent slightly for a moment? Do you know what? I remember playing on the SNES, SimCity on the SNES.
Yeah.
While I've been 12. I loved that.
Yeah.
I want to do that again. I want SimCity on a console.
Right.
Back on track.
Okay.
Just wanted to
Cities
throw that out there.
what you want is Cities in Motion on console.
Yeah. If you put Theme Hospital on the Xbox store, I'd be all over that.
I had that on the PlayStation 3 because they had it as a PS1 classic, so you could play that.
Yeah.
So it's doable.
Yeah. Should do it.
Yeah. So
should do
Star Fox Zero, and then leading on to that, I shall walk to the next game on the stand, which will probably be Animal Crossing: Happy Home Designer.
Yep.
My curiosity on this is mostly because it's a game for little girls that I really want.
All right.
So
Laura Llewellyn bouncy.
So this curiosity is somewhat a bit bizarre, but I'm also thinking they might give me one of the amiibo cards for playing it.
And
crafty. Well, I want to collect all of them. If they've got a limited edition one that's only getting out at events, I'll never be able to complete the set, so I have to go and I have to play it and hopefully win one. Last year I got my Sonic the Hedgehog hat.
Yeah.
Year before that I got a £5 PlayStation. That would have been brilliant promotion.
£5 PlayStation.
Nintendo eShop voucher for playing so many games and getting on their spinny wheel. So they normally give something away.
Yeah.
So I kind of think, well, maybe they would give that. So I want to give it a go. It's basically, it's change of rooms, Animal Crossing style.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be something I'm appealed by, but I like the Animal Crossing games because of all the there's games you play when you just want to relax.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing is one of those for me.
Yes. I used to have Civilization Revolution for that.
Yeah. I could sit down and sometimes I would just stand and look at the sky in Animal Crossing because it was more interesting than the sky out my window.
Yeah.
And listen to the music and just go, oh, let's go fishing at midnight. Yeah. It's nice. Whereas this is not going to have any of that. It's just the home design.
I like those games.
So, I want to try it. Sticking with Nintendo, you've got Super Mario Maker.
Yes. I'm literally just curious to see how this works, runs.
You want to build a level or play a level or both?
I'd like to go both.
So what we should do is sit next to each other and build each other a Lego.
Yeah. So, because I haven't played Super Mario since the N64. So
you've not missed much.
No, but I played Mario Kart 8 on your Wii U. So
which
kind
hasn't
of
really
half
changed at all, has it?
No. So I'm just curious, really, because it's Mario, and obviously now it's putting the power in people's hands. So I'm just curious to see how it goes.
This is one I'm very interested by, and I may end up buying this week because I like the idea of having that creation software. I like the idea of my kids having an idea of how our games are built.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you could just play stuff that other people have designed.
Yeah.
So easily. You know, it's.
I think that's why I'm curious. I just want to see how it works, how easily these things are shared.
So I might.
Because it's not a new concept. I mean, Halo did, was it the Forge where you could make your own levels? So it's not like a massively new concept.
No.
But I'm just, curiosity.
Yeah.
This is the Curious 5, and I'm curious about
Absolutely. The Assembly we've both got.
Yep.
Now this is the VR game that we kind of, when we looked at Gamescom, I think it was, we said about games that caught our eye and we flicked it.
I think it was the initial list for this.
That's right.
EGX.
And I was trying to remember what it was.
Yeah.
Well, they've now released a 10-minute gameplay commentary thing, which I watched through. And they were saying about all the different challenges when they're designing this.
Yep.
Like they said that in a regular game, you wouldn't put your head inside a cupboard.
Yeah.
But in VR, you can. And so you have to render everything inside the cupboard correctly. And they were saying about all these weird things, like people were doing, like looking under the table. And so they have to put things under the table. It's like stick a bit of gum under there or something, just so there's detail.
There's something,
Yeah, and I quite like the fact that they've clearly gone to that. And
they've actually thought about it.
Two protagonists that have a parallel storyline, and the Assembly is a kind of weird facility that may or may not be working for the good of people.
Yeah.
And
I think it's the story that intrigues me. So it's
well, this is it.
It seems like a story-driven.
I kind of hope it comes out regular, just for normal consoles. But from the design team, they've made it as a VR experience.
Yeah, and but the thing is, we've kind of touched on this before. We touched on it earlier with talk about Sony VR and Vive. You need the games to drive these hardware.
Yeah.
So this is one of the first, I suppose, big ones people are talking about.
Well, they said, they're putting it out and everything. Yeah. Because so they should. And finally, Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yeah, I wasn't interested. Started playing Black Flag on the Xbox One because I got it in Games of Gold, and it's sort of twinged my interest in the Assassin's Creed series again. Yeah. Where 3 had killed it, 4's kind of brought it back a little bit.
Well, pirates make everything better.
Exactly.
And Unity is a big step up from that, even though it's not as much fun. Syndicate, I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
it's we talked about it for the period it's set in, things like that.
That's it.
It is obviously
if you don't see, I didn't want to be in Civil War America. I don't care about that history.
Yeah, I care about the history, but I just
don't
hated
care
the
about
game.
history.
It was so flat. Didn't enjoy it.
I liked being Latham.
Yeah.
I hated being Connor.
See, I got bored of being Nathan.
Didn't even get that far.
No, got so bored. I was like, I don't want to play this anymore.
See, if you'd have got to Connor, you'd have been
even more bored.
Because you have a moment where you have to track an animal and you have to walk through deep snow,
Yeah.
and it just slows you right down. Awful.
Bored.
Right. So so that's what we've got
Yep.
to look at for. Now, if you want us to look at anything in particular, now's the time to get in touch.
Yes.
Obviously, the usual Twitter and email address at wearetheholocaust, letter R, or wearetheholocaust@gmail.com. If you look at the list, you can find it on our Twitter feed. We've put a link to it.
Uh-huh.
If there's anything you want to know about, anything you want us to ask, if you want us to go to the developer of the assembly and just say, did you ever think just to program in you sitting on a chair with 500 students who don't want to be there, just for a laugh? We'll ask that. Just do it. And if you go in to be there on a Thursday, let us know.
Yeah.
And you can put your fingers through my beard if you want. I don't know. I won't make that promise for Rob, but you probably could. Best not to. You've got things in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can meet up. That would be amazing because we're all about community.
Yeah.
And speaking of
Not
community,
just a TV show.
I saw Vacation.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Any good?
I really liked it.
I quite like the Vacation films.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about other than
Christmas Vacation is probably my favourite.
after Christmas Vacation, they weren't great.
No.
They still had their moments.
Yep.
This one has enough respect for the originals.
Yeah.
It's got Chevy Chase in there.
Yep.
And Beverly D'Angelo's cameos. It's the guest roles are some of the best I've seen in films for a while. But yeah, the whole thing's got a really nice pace. It's got some ridiculous puerile humour, but it works well in this generation.
Kind of the Vacation films were a little bit about.
I mean, it's
There was those elements.
Yeah.
There was the subtle and there was the very obvious.
Yeah, like European Vacation wasn't that subtle.
No, that's true.
But the little kid in it, who in the trailer just comes across as a psychopath, is a psychopath and he's hilarious. Yeah, it's if you're into comedy films, it's worth seeing. But Chevy Chase, it makes me feel sad to see him so old and fat. Like, if you've watched Community, it's not such a shock.
Yeah.
But if you've only watched, like, the last time you saw him was Vegas Vacation.
I think the last time I saw him was the Family Guy episode he was in with Dan Aykroyd.
Where it was just a voice.
Yeah.
And a cartoon version. But yeah, he has not aged well. But he has... I mean, I'm going to tell you what it is because it's hilarious. He runs a B&B,
right,
basically, in San Francisco, I think it is. And every time he's having a conversation, he's doing something. He's like Basil Fawlty.
Yeah.
And so rather than changing events, he just empties a bottle of Febreze just while talking. He's just pumping his bottle of Febreze, and you think, oh, that's a bit odd behaviour. And the next scene is in. He opens the toilet door, and there's a bloke having a crap, and he just sprays air freshener directly in this guy's face. And it just cuts back to Show Chase, just coping a conversation. His voice going, "Can you please stop that?" And he just goes, "No." Just carries on. It was brilliant. Just he's kind of not realising that the world's not ready for him, just as it always was. But yeah, it has its moments where it is amazing, and it has its moments where it's not brilliant. But I laughed a lot. These when he's first showing off the car, a big blue car from Albania, everything's going wrong. And they went, "Well, what's good about it?" Anyways, it's got 6 ashtrays. I hope you kids like smoking. And I just thought, that's the most dad thing I've ever heard anybody say. So yeah, very good. Adam Sandler was originally sought to play Rusty in that, so let's all be thankful that didn't happen. I won't have a minute's silence, but
let's just be thankful.
Let's just
move on. Then.
Afterwards, we can all thank ourselves. Speaking of community, Pac-Man 256. We set a high score time last episode. We had some entries. We had other people who did enter but didn't send their scores through, so I haven't got their scores. So they may have done better, but fuck them.
They didn't tell us.
So in last place, not by most, but Mark Bentley.
Yep.
He got 1,210, which is reputable. I think he only had one go.
Right.
Player 2 cast, not last for once.
Oh.
Surprised me.
You bitch.
1,495. Apparently Ian said he only had one go. If he had a second go, we've got 2 million.
Yep.
I said, have a second go. And he said he might embarrass him. So I think by everyone, he just means himself.
Yep.
Welshbeck, 2,811.
Very respectable.
Yeah. And then the top 3. This was exciting.
It was.
Junker Denby,
8,554. Yes.
Me,
yes.
8,766. And Wall Smiley, he got 8,872. He beat me by 90 odd points, I think it was. And yeah, 110.
106.
106, there you go. And this afternoon, I was playing it, and my partner distracted me, and I was almost beating that score.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I'm happy to take second place to that because that's a good score. He fought for that as well because he kept coming back with another high score and a high score. So well done to you, fella. Your prize is, if we ever meet, I'll draw a Pac-Man on your backside in Sharpie.
Yeah. Can I ask some on that?
Only one though, not 256 on that.
No, that's stupid.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
There's too much time around a Scottish man's backside.
There is.
Now, if I don't want to have my pen on a Scottish man's backside, I might want to have sex with a robot.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
I did in Fallout New Vegas. I had sex with Fisto, I think his name was.
Yeah.
All
right, calm down.
Which was a Protectron, whatever they're called, Robotron, who was
wired up to do that sort of thing.
And I chose to go for it. It wasn't the most exciting period, but basically an article hit the BBC News website this week, which made me laugh because the argument wasn't, like an Asimov by robot thing of robots shouldn't be made to be sexual objects.
Yeah.
It said basically that this would create a divide between husband and wife. And I thought, if you're at the point where you're ordering a giant sex robot,
yeah.
You're probably at that point, It's just, I think it was the weirdest of arguments. Just like in a world where pornography and sex toys already exist, it was like, well, we don't want to be giving robots artificial emotions. Imagine what that would do to America. Yeah. It's like, well, there are already quite realistic, true life dolls that people have.
True.
And it's very odd thing for BBC to report on in Battle Britain Memorial Week. Frankly, this is the Japanese lost.
Yeah,
they lost. They're not going to take over the world with giant sex robots. Not giant.
They might.
There's no promise that these things will be giant ones.
This is like the Futurama episode. Where was it? Billy orders a sex robot.
Pretty much.
He ignores his best gal. Ignores his parents. Doesn't do his exams. He just dies.
So really, Futurama preempted that news story by 10 years. So there you go.
It has so many things.
Preempted
Pixels.
It did.
Fry House, what it'd be like if life was more like a video game.
It preempted what life would be like if delivery companies were all rubbish.
Yep.
So there we go.
It preempted what the future would be like if it had the sleek, dazzling veneer of the 1980s. Yep.
It did. Right. Finally, final bit of news. This was announced today at Tokyo Game Show. The season pass is coming for Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and as part of that season pass, you get the Jack the Ripper, Hunt the Jack the Ripper DLC. Yep. Now, I don't know if we talked about it on this show. I know I definitely talked about it on
the toilet to yourself.
The toilet, or MGP, as other people call it. No, I spoke to a guy who worked for Ubisoft years ago. This is like before Assassin's Creed 3 came out. And I was saying about researching history. How much of history do you have to research to make it accurate? Because, for example, Assassin's Creed 2, all the people you assassinate died in those locations in real life. And I was saying that must be quite a good thing to do, where you go, right, okay, so we need to work out a way where this could be an alter. That character definitely died, but we don't know the exact details. Yeah. And he said, at the moment, we're looking at Jack the Ripper. Yeah. And I thought, Victorian London Assassin's Creed. And then he announced Assassin's Creed 3 was not.
Well, no.
This is, I said, so early on. And every subsequent game they've announced, I keep going, Victorian London. No, nothing happened. Victorian London. Oh, nothing happened. And then Victorian London. Now, this is set 20 years after the events of Syndicate. And basically you are teamed up with Aberline, not the Johnny Depp one, I imagine, to hunt Jack the Ripper. Now, I love that idea. Yep. Jack the Ripper is a popular culture character now. But some people today have, and I think quite rightly, pointed out that would people be as pleased if it was Fred West DLC or Peter Sutcliffe DLC?
Fair.
It's like, would you put hunting...
It's almost like it's so far in the past.
Yeah, and it's almost like Jack the Ripper has become now a character rather than... And it was an actual series of very violent, brutal, unsolved murders. Yeah. It's like, if there was a game that suddenly had you investigating the Yorkshire Moors murders... Like, it would be it wouldn't be something you play for entertainment. No. It was something you could probably experience, but this seems to be, in the world of Assassin's Creed, like it could just be a Templar. Yeah. Or it could be an assassin who's gone rogue or whatever. And I want to play it, but I totally understand the argument.
Yeah.
But
it sits in an awkward place.
Yeah, because it is. But then, how many films have done Jack the Ripper and done alternate versions of it, and they've turned it into a brand almost. You know, they've had Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper as a game, and I had a game on the Master System, which I think was called Master of Darkness, and it was basically Sega trying to do Castlevania.
Right.
But that was you hunting Jack the Ripper and turn Jack the Ripper with Dracula. It was a really good game.
Yeah.
But again, it's because it is this thing where Jack the Ripper, in inverted commas, is not the same person in the games very often as Jack the Ripper in things. What this is trying to do is, because they've realistically mapped London, they're going to realistically match Whitechapel.
Try and match everything,
and they're going to have it historically accurate to a point. And I think that's the point where entertainment has to be handled. I mean, it's a way off, and they probably will deal with it very sensitively. But you know, if you look at films like From Hell and the graphic novel by Alan Moore that it was based on, it's great source material. Of course, it's the perfect story. It's got links to the royals. It's got a series of murders. It's got Victorian London, so it's got thick, foggy nights and policemen blowing whistles, and like everything about it screams tell this story. So why shouldn't they do it? But at the same time, having that as like season pass content kind of makes it like this is the thing you'll pay for because you're bloodthirsty or not. So, but either way, I bloody want it. Absolutely want it. I want that more than anything in the game already. Ooh. So I like the idea of taking on Jack the Ripper. Yeah. Putting an end to him. I'll throw his intestines over his shoulders. That's what he did. Yeah. So
that wraps it up.
It does.
On that delightful note.
It does. So we're going to now go and start packing our bags because we've only got 9 days. we've got to get a move on, Rob. We're going to be late. So we're going to be getting ready for EGX. Yep. So I'd say get in touch. Let us know what you want to see. Rate and reviews on iTunes because we'll find it out in a couple of weeks. Yeah. And that'll be good. Drop on the website. There's not much on there at the moment, but I imagine post Eurogame we'll at least have a photo gallery. Yep. So that'll be exciting. And also use your affiliate links because that's the big thing at the moment. Christmas coming up. All these big games. If you want to buy any of them via our affiliate link on the website,
for Amazon,
that would be would be very, very helpful. Or if you want to buy someone a gift of geekiness in a box, buy their Loot Crate subscription via us, and we get a very small kickback from that as well. If not, just click on the email envelope and just send us a message. Or
say we love you, we hate you, or somewhere in between.
Or you can drop us a PayPal donation and pay for some coffees. Yeah. Because that's what happened with MGPX. Yep. Someone donated money to get us there or got us back on the bus. Yep. And for a drink, which is very nice. So it's all good. So as mentioned before, tweet us at We Are The Lollicourse, so letter R. You follow me at Bounceable with an H after second B.
And you can follow me at Rob McGregor 35.
And you can see us next week for episode 32. When we'll be reporting on MGPX.
We'll be reporting
on MGPX, EGX. Yeah. And it's entirely possible that I'm going to record a bit of podcast in the car on the way home. Oh.
You've got to remember all the login this time.
Nah, just get Mark to bring a recorder or something. Ooh. Not a recorder, like an instrument. Because that would be annoying for 2.5 hours. But we might record something so we get our immediate reactions while we're tired and driving. Yeah.
You mean when I'm tired and driving?
Yeah, I'll be tired. It'll keep me awake.
You're driving.
You don't want me asleep, I've got to be navigating.
I know the way to and from Birmingham.
You say that, Rob, but I've been around the park with you and you just kept wanting to go to the toilet. Yeah. It's weird. So we'll see you next week. For MGPX. Why do I keep saying that? EGX. It's because of Eurogamer. For a Eurogamer Expo show.
Eurogamer Expo.
Bye-bye, people.
Bye.